access level has recently increased. Excellent. Incoming message.
Welcome, agents, to episode 57 of Behind the Scanner. Your hosts for tonight are Andrew Krug from Arlington, Virginia, Daphne D. from Washington, D.C., and Jorge Pedrero from Mexico City. Our special guests tonight are William from Tennessee and the Weasel from Texas. Joining us for the Weekly Truth is Jose Antonio Rey from Operation Essex. And for a look inside the scanner is Fev Games. I'm Kelly Colton. Welcome to the show. The Q&A tool is enabled for tonight's broadcast. Submit your questions throughout the show and we'll ask as many as time allows. If you know someone who would make a great guest, submit their information to us at bit.ly/BTS_guest. Finally, you can watch past episodes and subscribe to our channel at youtube.com/behindthescanner. And now, your hosts of Behind the Scanner.
Hello, good evening, agents. Welcome to episode 57 of Behind the Scanner. And this week we're going to switch up the format a bit. We weren't expecting this when we originally booked our guests, but our Behind the Scanner guest chat has kindled a bit of a bromance. So instead of interviewing our guests one-on-one, we've decided to interview them both at the same time, hoping that their chemistry is as potentially hilarious on screen as it has been off. So first, we'd like to introduce our first guest, affectionately known as the Weasel. And he's part of the Barcode Legion that you've seen, I'm sure, on your scanners all over anywhere you've been in the country. And you might also recognize him as the agent that hit level 16 on the show last year. So welcome back, Weasel.
Hey, thanks for having me back. And ironically, I didn't even realize this until Andrew messaged or said something earlier. That was episode 11, and 11 is very barcode friendly. Just saying.
Sometimes it's just bait.
Well, welcome, guys. Weasel, it is good to see you again, man. We also have our second guest, William, who claims to be a nice guy and states that he does not eat moon rocks, I guess. So we got some people out there who want to say hello to William. I guess that's a little play on the sheep name. So hello to that. Welcome to the show, man.
I just asked people what, about me, and that's what they said. So apparently I don't eat moon rocks.
That's good. That's good. That's a good trait to have, I think.
I don't get to be on the screen while I'm talking, though. I get to talk as you.
We'll go with that, I guess. Sure. Yeah.
No, 11's also a prime number, so we're good there too.
It is.
Yeah.
What is the next prime number after 11?
13.
Okay, very good. You passed the test. You can be on the show. All
Excellent.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess let's just kick this off here. Let me ask Agent first to let me quote Shakespeare. What's in a name? What's up with your name? How do you pronounce your name?
First of all, it was too many L's. There was one too many L's in there, but good try. A for effort. And yeah, it's just member of the Barcode Legion, one of the founding members, and it's just actually. I think we are now one of the biggest clans in Ingress, so organized clans, not just hey, we're all starting our own little clan. So, and we're worldwide too. That's a great thing about it. So we actually have some new members coming online in Calgary here in the coming week or two. So I'm pretty excited about that. We had two new members join the chat today, so good stuff.
Wow, Canada, eh?
It's good to be in the Legion, eh? I know, right?
All right, so let's hop over to you, William. So for those of you watching, this is going to be a bit of a different show. Like Daphne mentioned, we're going to do it concurrently. It's still going to be an hour long. We're going to take almost a little bit of an intermission in the beginning or in the middle of it and do some of our normal stuff. But
I thought we agreed this was the 2-hour special.
It will be, but the second half is going to be the BTS After Dark, which it's a private
it's
affair.
going to get awfully dark with me and Weasel in here.
Invite only. Yeah. So, all right, what's with your name, Mr. TNSheep? Is that how you pronounce it? I'm not sure.
No, that's not my agent name. Or are you asking what my name is?
I was asking the last part of your name.
TN is Tennessee, and then sheep.
Is the sheep thing for a reason? Or
yeah, this is actually my business Gmail account.
Not quite as exciting as I thought it would be.
No, it's not quite as exciting as you'd think. I go and actually give sheep haircuts. It's really exciting.
When you're offering to give me a haircut earlier, it's because you truly are a professional and can shear this mop I've got going on.
Yeah, quite quickly. I might take an ear, though, because I have a feeling you're going to wiggle.
Hey, you know what? I got two. I can spare one, so it's all good.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll work on it.
What your agent name then? Your agent name is it Weibin?
Is there an E in it?
I don't know. You tell me. It's your name.
Yeah. Everybody says it wrong. It's all right. No, it was some random name I came up with a long time ago. It just works. And it also gives me great amounts of frustration because nobody can ever pronounce it right.
So how do you pronounce it? Say it one more time.
It's Wibben.
Wibben. Okay. Right.
Yeah, I don't know.
Completely
Everybody gets it with a long E, and I'm like, I'm not really sure where you got the E at. Okay, it's just my luck with any name I pick for any game. Nobody can ever pronounce it right.
You could probably blame Nintendo for that. I would imagine because the Wii. So.
Well, this was before the Wii, though. I've been using this name for 8 or 9 years.
Okay, then we won't blame Nintendo. We'll just blame your bad
Nintendo. I would just blame bad phonetics.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so about Weasel. We were talking earlier about how we know where he was when he hit level 16, and wow, I can't believe it was episode 11. And Agent Wibben, what's been the most memorable thing for you that you've experienced while out and about playing Ingress?
I just break things when people put up fields. I just go out and actually what I do is I usually end up not playing and looking at the scenery because you'll go someplace to play and it's just nice there. So I end up walking around and enjoying everything. But Ingress takes you to all the cool places that you didn't know were there. And then if it just happens to be green, I might destroy it.
That's true. It does take us all to
you can when I go to a lot of these places, I might only be there once, and it's nowhere near where I'm at. So I can either take time to, enjoy what's going on, or I can take the time to play Ingress. And sometimes I just don't have time to do both. So you kind of got to mix and match. Nice. So I've ended up some pretty cool places, and most of them from work. But you end up there shearing, and then you end up going out and playing Ingress, so I'll go someplace and blow up somebody's anchor and then go work and then come back like an hour later and blow up their anchor when I have lunch. And they put it back up while I go back and work. And then once I'm done working, I'll blow it up again. I know these guys are cussing me because they can never find me. Because I'm about like 12 hours out of where I normally play at, and they're like, who's this guy? Where's he at? And I'm getting messages from people like, dude, you need to stop blowing that guy's stuff up. I'm like, no, I'm going to go blow all this stuff up now.
All right, well, let's talk about some of the achievements, and we'll play a game of password. But instead of a password, you have to guess the Ingress medal or statistic the other player is most proud of. So, Weasel, you go first. You get three guesses on what Ingress statistic William covets the most. And I think I might have a guess after what he just mentioned.
Yeah. All right. What is blowing up anchors for 100?
All right, William. What's the answer and why?
No, he gets 3 guesses. That was 1.
Yeah. Okay. So let me get my second guess. The other day, William was bragging about his anomaly badges. So I'm guessing maybe his anomaly badges. I'm hoping that he's got them all. I don't know. I haven't seen his scanner.
That's a negatory.
All right, one more.
His verified agent badge.
Dude, that's awesome. I'd say my founder's badge, but they handed those things out like M&M's. So no, actually, I hate badges. If I was to pick any of my badges, the only badge that I could actually be proud of is my Guardian badge.
Right,
Why?
yeah.
That's all you have to do is sit home and recharge from your couch. That's the laziest badge ever.
Dude, 454 days.
Wow.
It's a lot of recharging.
Record. Does anyone know the record?
There's a couple people over 580, I think.
Wow.
I thought I saw someone at 600 at one point.
Yeah, I'm sure they're getting close to 600 now.
Okay, that's pretty impressive. All right, William, it's your turn to guess about weasels.
I can't say what Weasels would be favorite, but I know he just got his tranny badge last night.
Yeah. Black trannies in the house now, baby. I don't have to glyph anymore.
But how will you know? How will you know what things say if they release information for all the passcodes and all that?
I'll find out from
No, he
somebody.
really likes his black tranny badge. No, I think he said he was going for Boomer and Builder next. Because you're trying to get all Onyx, right?
Yeah, but it's definitely not those. If anyone knows me, this is an easy answer, and I'm sure like Andrew and
I don't know
probably
you.
what this is.
I don't know you. This is the first time I've actually met you.
God. All right, so
was that two?
are we giving up? Yeah, we giving up because you kind of threw two.
I kind of threw out way too many there because I was cheating.
Let's just say that he's up. Yeah, no more.
All right, go for it, Weasel.
I'm gonna let Andrew answer this one. He knows what it is, and he'll need one guess. That's it.
Oh, I don't even. Yeah, it's the Seer badge.
Yeah, baby, it's a Seer badge.
Yes. How many are you up to now?
3,500 and something or other.
Oh, that's quite impressive.
I don't even have 300.
She said.
I think I've got like 20.
That's because you're a slacker, Andrew.
It's true. It's true. I don't even. Yeah. Although I'm a higher level than William, so I do play still.
Wait, and aren't you level 9?
Man, I am level 13 now. I'm a teenager.
Big money.
I'm a teenager.
Big
Let me go
money.
ahead.
I'm
Let me
glad
go
you're
ahead and
double
let me go
digits
ahead and
now.
brag for a second because that's one of the levels that I never got to experience. I just went right to 14.
I'm skipping 13 too because it just doesn't seem right.
Actually, it's interesting that you brought that up, though, Matt, because weren't you, when you hit level 16 on the show, at that point in time, I only knew of, like, maybe 4 people that were 16, so you're definitely one of the first ones.
I couldn't get a straight answer out of Brian Rose, but I just kind of guesstimated that I was somewhere between maybe 6 and 10. So there were a few agents, but not many.
Yeah.
Oh, but put it this way, when you remember before they gave out the freebie badge and everyone got to level up, on that list I was number 24 globally. So, but that was a lot. That's AP as well. So I'm, while I play hard, it's not all about the AP.
See, that's why William and I are sandbagging it, because we don't want to level up via those freebie badges. We're trying to do it the old-fashioned way. So.
Yeah, see, I'll give you fist bumps for that one, Andrew.
Yeah, nice.
Like
nice.
Andrew's stats and my stats are like mirror images, except I actually have Silver Seer.
Okay. Yeah, true. All right, let's move on to a different topic. The Persepolis anomaly just ended, and there was actually an anomaly in the Nashville area where Mr. William TNSheep is right now outside the Parthenon. Yeah, I'm going to keep saying it that way.
It's just wrong.
I'd like to point out, I said it earlier, he's at his community library on one of those drop screens.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I got the projector hitting the white wall behind me here.
Yep.
Yearbook pictures.
So what was your take on how the anomaly went down? You guys started off with a deficit point-wise, I think, right?
No, the local Enlightened here actually did a really good job with their plans. They brought their A game. We got decimated in the first 2 clusters, and I don't know what they decided to do, if it was go to the bar or something, but cluster 3, we got 10 or 15 points ahead of them, and we were going into cluster 4 180 points behind, and I think they all went home for cluster 4 because it was like 64 to 360, and we came back from a 180 point deficit, and it was like, okay, what happened? Because I thought we lost. So like, okay, well that was really hard fought in cluster 4, and everybody just, I guess everybody in cluster 3 for my team just came together, and and worked harder and did what they needed to do, and in cluster 4 they just dominated it, and I was just like surprised. But I think for like the last hour and a half after the anomaly was over, I was nervous. I'm like, okay, what's the score? What's the score? And I ran off site to go pick somebody up, so I wasn't at the last meetup, and somebody was saying that they announced that we lost, and I'm like, I just saw the scores that they posted from Portland. I'm like, we didn't lose. We won by like 150 points.
Yeah, I heard that there was some misinformation on the ground, and I got excited because obviously being enlightened that we won, and then it was sort of a retraction occurred.
Well, I never did find out what happened, because if you looked at the official anomaly report score from the Ingress G+ page, they had a whole bunch of stuff redacted, and like I could never get anybody to figure out what happened there. I mean, it was like, was it a mismeasure, or was it a, what happened with that too? Because it's like I know we did really, really good in cluster 4, and with what we had going on, the points seemed right, but it's like, okay, so what happened with all the scoring across all the sites and all these connected cells? What was going on? And typical of, okay, well, we fixed it. Well, why did you fix it? I don't know. So.
Well, Mr. Weasel, you've participated in just about every anomaly to date, I believe. So besides the time that we practically shared a bed in San Francisco, the memories for 13 Magnus. What's been your favorite anomaly event to participate in, and why?
Well, probably the top would be 13 Magnus San Francisco. It's the last time we won. So, I don't want to say that too loud. It's so long.
Holy crap!
I know, 2013. It's the last series we won, but and in DC recently. You know what it is? I think that going to an anomaly where you actually fly there, where your sole purpose is going to an anomaly, not just driving somewhere, because I've driven to all the ones that are in the region, or but I don't know, actually getting on a plane and flying somewhere, and going to a whole new city for a primary anomaly, not satellite sites like Nashville. I don't know. There's just something real special about that. So I enjoy doing that, and I'm gonna try to start getting to a primary every series now. So.
I think the common thread there, though, is both DC and San Francisco. I was there with you. We shared the experience together. So maybe you just have to go to the anomalies with me.
I'll go to an anomaly with you, Krug.
I would like that very much. I need to get back to Nashville, actually. It looks like we lost Matt's audio, though. He was trying to talk, and he's either muted or...
Yeah, I bumped the button, and I was like, yeah, we'll take William to Anomaly and show him what a primary site's like.
Hey, I've done primary sites, too. Well, I was a primary here for Nashville Recursion.
That's true, that's true.
You guys remember what the score was for Nashville Recursion?
I can't remember what I ate for breakfast, let alone that.
Okay, well, yeah. Do you guys remember what the score was for 13 Magnus in Nashville?
You'll have to tell us.
Yeah,
what was the score.
We only care about the ending score.
Supposed to win.
So I take it you guys won it. All right.
Okay, still watching, I don't know anymore. Remember, you can submit questions for either or both of our guests. Those of you watching via YouTube, you have to click on the banner at the bottom of the video that says "Be part of the conversation." And from there, just click on the square grid menu icon in the upper right, and then click on QA.
So with that, actually, we kind of made a bit of a teaser post about some codes and some other things. So before we continue on, we kind of wanted to do a soft launch of something that we're doing, and that is we actually started our own website. So we've got behindthescanner.com now, and if you go there, yes. It took us a long time. The art is beautiful. I think like 3 hours last night. So, but there's an embedded chat, so you can go there and chat with us live. We figured that might be a little bit of fun. See how that goes. If there's too many trolls, we'll just kick you out. The back end is IRC, so we can ban you. That's cool too. But go there, chat with us as the show's going on. You can post questions to guests there, or use the Q&A app, whatever you find easier. But we're also going to be giving away a Muffig capsule and a SoftBank Ultra Link code. I've got 4 codes. two of them I know what they are. One is the capsule and one is the Ultralink. The other two, I'm not sure. It is definitely one of those two items. So what's going to happen is if you submit a question for our guests and we read your question on the air, the first 4 people whose questions we read on the air, I will contact you after the show, and I will give you the code to redeem, and there you go. You can enjoy your new loot. So again, we've got one of the new capsules to give away, one of the Ultralinks to give away, and the other 2 are going to be, you got a 50-50 shot to be whatever it is that you want. So
I have a question for myself then.
No, I'm going to ask you some questions now.
Guests and hosts are exempt from winning the prize. So submit your questions using the Q&A tool, or submit your questions.
I thought the prize tonight was me and Weasel being here.
It's kind of like a runner-up prize, to be honest.
I mean, we both rode in on the short bus, so I mean, it's definitely a prize.
Yeah, it's I think it's the whole Parthenon thing going on behind you. It's a little bit too overwhelming. Your presence is just too much, so it's very Roman.
Hey, is William getting the next question? Can I go get another beer?
Bring me one too, buddy.
No, actually, you get the next question.
Dang it!
Yes, it is you. Sorry.
Buzzkill.
I'll take the question. I'm pro.
I don't know. Weasel, I think he should be leading off the answer for this one. Talk to us a little bit about your playing styles and how do you describe yourself as a player. First, Weasel.
Oppressive would maybe be a good term. I don't like blue portals anywhere near me, so I tend to exterminate them as quickly as possible. As a matter of fact, just today, someone was taking down one of our local farms, and I literally drove over there and just started driving right behind him, putting new shields on it, and then as soon as they went neutral, I'd claim him before he could. So that's how I like to play. But whatever. It is what it is.
All right, now go get your beer. So, William, what about you?
I am the most random, non-routing player. I just appear randomly wherever. People hate me because I'll show up. They're like, you haven't played for like a week. I'm like, yeah, I know. That's why I'm here destroying this 20K anchor that you have up, and then I'm going to go away and let you put it back up here in the next hour, and I'm going to destroy it again.
All right.
I have a tendency to hit high priority targets instead of actually go out and play for hours and hours and hours at a time because it's a community game. And if I'm playing by myself, it gets kind of boring. So if I'm out playing with other people, I'll play for a lot longer times, but if I'm just out, I'll go out and hit a couple anchors and stuff like that. Or if I go to a lot of these random towns and they're green, I have a nice tendency of leveling the local farm for the green players there because they really thank me for that. I've got a few places that I go. I can just touch a level 1 burster off and give an alert to a couple people, and I'll have 5 or 6 messages that say, go home. So it makes for a lot of fun.
All right. Well, and you were saying earlier that about community, and it's pretty big for you. So, why do you say that?
Community is what makes this game happen. When we get together for anomalies, when we get together to make farms, it's a community event. Without our communities, we can't succeed as Ingress agents, except for Weasel here. He's pro. No, but you look at what happens with an anomaly. You have a huge community of players coming together from all around your area, and without them, that can't be successful. And without the other team having a community of players coming together as well, it's not very fun. I mean, granted, winning with no opposition is pretty easy, but it's definitely not fun. It's actually fun to have a good game and play. And Terry has just informed me the score for Resistance Anomaly for Recursion was 671 to 222. But yes. No, like you look, we've done Ingress panels, things like that, and you just bring together different community members, whether it's cross faction or if it's regular stuff. And these players here all have different skills, and you can bring all these cool different skills together and create really impressive things. I mean, I got a local player here tonight helping me do the broadcast stuff. He brought over some of his lighting equipment, things like that, green screen, so I can sit out in front of the Parthenon and stuff like that. And I actually, probably sound decent unlike normal. So it's a community effort, letting your community know what's going on, working with your community, and learning about the different people around you, and sharing your skills with each other.
And he's paying them off in tater tots.
Yeah, I am paying them off in tater tots because that's all the food that I have except for like Brussels sprouts. But I did make like 2 batches of cookies. He just hasn't got into those yet because I really wish I could reach the cookies right now, but I'm kind of tethered to the desk.
Yeah,
William's kind of like Napoleon Dynamite. He just carries around tater tots in his pocket.
I've only watched that once, but that's so funny.
I would totally follow you for tater tots. All right, Weasel, why is community a big thing for you?
Well, I mean, I don't want to sound like I'm just repeating William, but pretty much everything he said, and I mean, we're really it's kind of like our motto with the Legion. We're nobody without our team. So a single agent can only build a level 5 portal. That's useless. So
I thought you could only build level 1 portals. That's all I build is level 1 portals.
And my AP thanks you for that.
But no, that's AP denial because I only throw one bird. Hey, by the way, cookies.
Whoa.
Jelly. But the other thing I was going to say is, I'm not sure how Nashville community is. I'm guessing it's strong, but down here in Texas, especially in DFW, I mean, we have a very strong community. As a matter of fact, Andrew can attest to this. We brought 17 agents flew up to DC for the anomaly, and we had over 20 from the state alone just from Texas, and we actually had our own cluster team. Texas had their own cluster team in DC, so we travel well down here in DFW, and maybe that's a little plug for our area. We deserve another anomaly. Just saying.
I think I got the reason why we won this last Nashville thing because all the Texas agents that came to Nashville instead of going to Portland, the satellite site that was here in Nashville that we won.
He's gonna keep bringing it up. Hey, you won though. You got bragging rights.
Yeah,
so.
We got all our winning out of the way in DC. That was just kind of like for fun out there. We didn't really try. It was like an exhibition game. It's a satellite site.
Nice.
The worst part is the chat on the Behind the Scanner page is just going crazy, and people are asking like all sorts of goofy questions on there. This is pretty fun for people if they want to get on there and join in because there's a lot of goofy questions coming to me and Weasel on there. I just can't answer them. Pay attention to this.
Wait, where's that at? I don't even have that. Well, I didn't try to open anything up.
Do you know how to get to that? It's
No. Well, and everyone here knows, like literally an hour before my home internet went out, so I'm using like backup internet here, so I'm not opening anything I don't have to.
Yeah. If you do, for those of you watching and that are not actually being interviewed, if you want to follow along, go to behindthescanner.com, click at the chat up at the top, and just put in your agent name, and then it'll pop you right in the chat. We are going to be giving away 4 codes tonight. I'm going to pick 2 people from the Q&A app, and I'm going to pick 2 people from the Behind the Scanner chat to give those codes to. They are going to be for either the new capsule or the new link amp. So submit your questions in there. Make sure you tag the people's names, though. Don't just ask a question because I won't know if you want it for Weasel or William or both of them. So. All right, with that, let's move on. Can you do the Pauly Shore thing, by the way? Because I was going to do it as a joke, but I tried and I can't. The whole, Weasel.
Yeah.
Does nobody know who Pauly Shore? Wow, I dated myself.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm there with you.
I'm from California. I know who he is.
It's the Weasel. All right. So, Mr. Weasel, let's talk about something a bit more controversial because, as mentioned in your intro and earlier.
Wait a minute. That tape got out? I thought that was not supposed to get up. That video.
No. After we left the hotel, I burnt it. So it's.
Oh, okay. So something else controversial. Thank you.
Yeah. Again, Stanley Park Hotel, baby. You and I. All right. So you're part of the Barcode Legion. Explain what the Barcode Legion is, how it got started, and why your name is.
It was close again. Too many blah, 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 blah. Okay, so basically the Legion, the Legion was formed. It was myself and Marlon came up with the idea here in DFW. We were talking about it, and we pitched the idea to some players. I thought it would be kind of cool to have matching names where they kind of looked the same but weren't the same. And early on in Ingress, there was a bit of, I don't know, creepy stalking going on, things like that. So it was kind of like a multi-part thing. It was, we were trying to get away from the people to be able to stalk you real easy, and targeting people. We were trying to, use it as a tactical advantage. When attacking areas, you see all these barcodes hidden in all these different areas. It's kind of confusing. So that was one of the things. And it's grown since then. We're a great clan. Like I said, one of the biggest in Ingress, if not the biggest. I tell you what, if there were two chat, like if I was to quit Ingress, I would still stay in the barcode chat and I would still stay in the seer chat because those are two great chats. But we got a strong family of barcodes, and we got people coming on all the time. We had 2 new barcodes yesterday. Like I said earlier, we got Calgary, Canada is coming online real soon with about 5 barcodes. So we're growing. We're international now. So it's a big thing. Oh, and also here, we have our own T-shirts and everything. So in case you hadn't seen this before.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm just curious. Does that scan? Can you scan that?
It does, and I really can't repeat what it says on the air, but if you buy one, you can scan it and find out.
Hold it back up so I can scan it off the screen. No, don't do that. That's probably some dirt.
And also, it's kind of funny. The barcode thing has morphed into, like I said, it's like a global thing, and there's so much butthurt on with us being barcodes. So we kind of have this BCBH saying, barcode butthurt, and it's not just on the Resistance. We got a couple Enlightened that are really barcode butthurt as well.
I think it's funny, to be honest with you. Everybody gets all worked up about it because, I can't figure out what their name is. It's creative and it's fun. It's not very fun when the person's being malicious, but the rest of you aren't malicious. One bag egg can't ruin a whole batch. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Whether it's not, it doesn't take a barcode to be, a jerk or anything like that. There's plenty of players that are jerks, so it's not just barcodes. Oh,
hey, and that'll be concluding the show for the evening. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah. I have to tell you though, I was doing intel for one of the shard, the first shard, and there was one area where the shard was, and there was a barcode, and I was still a noob, and I didn't realize what that was, and I was asking people, hey, so who is I or LLL? I'm like, oh, which one? So yeah, no, it was definitely entertaining for someone who just did not quite get it. So I'm glad.
If you've never been to like DFW or a city that has multiple barcodes playing at once, it's something to behold. Especially, I can't even tell you how many times a new player is like, hey, you were just hitting my portal in Dallas. How are you in Fort Worth already? That was 4 minutes ago.
No, it is quite amusing when you see 3 or 4 of you all attacking portals and stuff like that, because it's like, oh, man, I don't even know which one to tag in this post. Oh, well.
Too funny. All right, well, Mr. Sheep. Just a little bit of a topic change, but for you, have you ever been stopped by law enforcement while playing Ingress?
I'm special, no. I've had law enforcement agents follow me, though. That was quite amusing.
All right, well,
it probably didn't help that I was driving 80 or 90 at some point, but they were kind of trying to figure out why I randomly turned around and stopped in a parking lot while I was traversing a link. And then they followed me out of town, but they never stopped me, so I've always been quite fortunate at that. But I don't really play while driving too much. I actually like to walk and play more.
Gotcha. Well, if you were pulled over, how would you explain Ingress to the officer?
I've actually explained it to officers that haven't pulled me over, because I have friends that are cops, and they're not really sure what to think about it, because, you're really telling them, hey, there's this cool game that's, requires you to go to these places and capture stuff, and it's virtual on your phone. Do you play it while driving? No. And it's like...
Speed lock, yeah, that's why.
Speed lock. It's so sad here, too, because there's so many portals down roads here in my area that just get no love anymore, because you can't... The speed lock, you just can't capture them anymore. It's just sad. Yeah. But no, most police officers, we've had some police officers here in Middle Tennessee that actually do play We had one that played for about 2 weeks. His name was Uh-Oh to Popo, which was quite amusing. I don't know what happened with that, but I think he was wondering what the whole group of people were doing one night, and he decided to play while they were farming, and he joined and played for a couple weeks. I haven't seen him, though, but usually with any sort of officer, you just tell them what you're doing, and once people figure out that you're not being malicious, they don't really care too much.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, instead of with law enforcement, how about encounters with the opposite faction? And I mean, besides tonight's obvious bromance,
Are we talking like dinner and a movie encounters here, or?
Well, have there been any positive, memorable encounters with the opposite faction?
Nope.
No. Andrew, shut up.
Next question.
Opposite faction stuff can be really fun because I've actually had some local guys here helping me find some new work. I've not been the fortunateness in working. It's still a community, whether it's your team or the other team, and you know.
You mean not enough sheep in the area?
Hey, you're not here, buddy. No, I actually travel quite a long ways to do all that stuff. It's not like next door. We get together and have drinks or stuff like that. Some people are just really anti-cross-faction, and I really don't care. Friends are friends, but some of the enlightened players here locally don't get that I separate game from friends. When it's game time, you're not my friend. When we're having drinks later that night, we can talk about whatever. And I make that distinction. It's like work and friends and stuff like that. That's why you don't work with friends, because you end up with these weird issues where it's, oh, hey, play favorites with me because you're my boss and we're friends. It's like, nope. I'm not going to do that with, Ingress friends either, unless, if we're trying to test something, like we got all these stupid new link amps and all these things. So I know people are out there testing those. I don't really care. I'm sitting at home playing Roll the Tanks. So.
All right. Okay, how about you, Weasel?
Well, you know what? Here's my experience. It seems like in bigger cities, relationships aren't as good as smaller cities because there are fewer players. So, for example, I went down to Beaumont, Texas, I don't know, a couple months ago, and down there, everyone's like, oh yeah, we hang out once a week. We, grab beers, things like that. But here in DFW, it's so big that there's really, everyone's just more of like a number or just a name in the scanner. So, here, and I'm guessing it's like that in other big cities too. But actually, one of the favorite cross-faction parts for me is actually going to the anomalies and meeting all the people at the anomalies. That's pretty cool.
Weasel, are you seeing like most of the older players tend to stick together more cross-faction wise versus the newer players?
Yeah, maybe.
Because of that
but
original.
like I said here, yeah, the old core, the old crew, you kind of think. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, because like when we first started playing a long time ago, you got like 40 people playing in some big town, and everybody knew each other, and you form a different relationship versus what you form now with 50 or 60 players out playing at any given moment, and 200 players throughout the day in some big city. You just can't. Everybody is a number at that point, but the people that you made connections with beforehand. It seems like a lot of the older players seem to stick together more to me in bigger cities.
Yeah, and I'd say that might be true. At least being cordial online and things like that. But the other thing that I'm noticing is a lot of the older players now are even starting to drop off. So
yeah,
it's a rare breed being a day one player like myself.
Hey, at least you got something to brag about.
I know, right? And I got to cut the cake up at the birthday party in New Orleans. So go on.
Well, speaking of rare breed, are you guys ready to answer some viewer questions?
Dun dun dun.
As long as they're presented in the form of a haiku.
Wait! Before we do that, I actually have a question for both of you, Daphne and Andrew. I just random question. I used to work in radio, so I like asking questions too. I'm going to ask y'all. You don't have to answer it right now. I can answer later. All right. So Andrew or live, and it can't be like a family member or something like that, who would it be? So think about that one. And then Daphne, if you had a time machine, would you go into the future, back into the past, and what would you do? Where would you go? What event would you go see? You have one trip on a time machine, one round trip. So there's your two questions.
I gotta admit, hold on though. I don't know if it was on your end or my end. I didn't hear the first part of my question. It was something about family, dead or alive, or what?
Dinner.
The dinner question. Okay, so if I could have dinner with how many people?
No. If you could meet any person, dead or alive, who would they be? But it can't be like a family member.
Okay.
Any one person.
I'll think about that.
Yeah. Okay. So think about that.
All right. Appreciate it.
All right. So now viewer questions. Let's do it.
Let's get to your viewer questions. All right. So how about this for the Mufug MUFG capsule? Let's go with. There was a good one in here. There's a lot of good ones in here, but
Come on, ask them all. What are we? We don't have to be anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, this is the Weasel and Sheep show here. We got this. 2 hours.
How about man? There's so many that I've absolutely lost track of.
Just start firing them off. We'll do like.
All right, so Hernan
sure.
Trichet, who's also been a guest of ours. Yeah, he wants to know. This is for both of you guys. How did the Sojourner badge affect your everyday routine? So that's the badge where you have to have every single day in a row.
No thanks.
No.
Oh, I hate that badge.
Okay.
I got a guy here that's hacking every other day. That way his wife cannot figure out if he's playing Ingress.
Oh.
Interesting. All right. So that was from the Q&A app. So
I hate that badge because you can never take a day off.
That's the point of it, though.
Right?
Yeah, but come on. That's like saying your work is making you come into work every single day. You don't even get like a weekend off or anything like that. Why wasn't it something like you just have to do an action and they can have a whole thing close and people live out in the rural areas? I mean, that's a badge you could really never achieve getting black.
It could be
a couch portal though.
He doesn't have a couch portal.
I know he doesn't. Yeah. We were talking about that last night.
Yeah, people call that the OCD badge. All right, so for the SoftBank link amp, I'm going to go to the IRC chat here. We got some pretty good questions in there. How about? Yeah, that's really good. I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. So,
can we slap somebody around with a large crowd?
Yep, that's right. You can actually. All right, there's one I think from Dr. Overdose. So this is really important.
No. Perry's not allowed to ask questions. No Birmingham questions.
He gets a question because a lot of Ingress is centered around social activities, both before, during, and after play, and for better or for worse, beer and liquor is involved in that. So he wants to know, what is your guys' favorite beer?
That's a good question.
Well, technically, my favorite beer is free beer because, I mean, you can't beat free beer.
And that is an excellent answer.
I like that.
I got this. And by the way, just so everybody knows, Perry came to Nashville and he didn't buy me a beer. So I'm going to call you out live.
I think Weasel's showing his favorite beer right now. Is that Woodchuck?
He was pretty excited about that last night.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Well, I don't drink very often, but it gave me an excuse to open up this 12-pack that I bought last weekend. So, yeah, cheers. Enjoy your link, Ultra Link.
We are going to ask more viewer questions. We've got 2 more codes to give away. You guys have submitted a ton, but we actually have a special guest who's going to be joining us soon. So I think what we're going to do now is maybe take a little bit of a break and move on to the other stuff. So Daphne, you want to take over?
We're getting Kit Kats? We're having a Kit Kat?
You guys can go refresh your beers and your drinks.
But I want M&Ms with peanuts.
You boys go do your bro thing and.
Where's the Funyuns, Andrew? You're not gonna rustle the bag for us?
How long is our hall pass good for?
Oh my God! Of course he does. All right, boys, go do the bro thing and keep it on mute because I know what bros kind of do. Yeah. All right, it's time for the weekly truth. This week we have Jose Antonio Rey joining us from Lima, Peru, where he will catch us up on what is going on in the Ingress storyline. So everyone please welcome Operation Essex investigator Jose Antonio Rey to the show.
Well, hello everyone. I'm glad to be back here at Behind the Scanner to give you an update of what's been going on of the Niantic history in the past week. We've had a lot of interesting events. We had, the most important event I think was the finale of the Anomalies. The Resistance captured the Persepolis series for just 429 points. In that way, they secured Stein Lightman's fate. Stein Lightman is now aligned to the Resistance, and the Resistance owns the powers of the glyphs. However, we do not know, again, what may happen with those glyphs, how the glyphs will affect the Resistance or the Enlightened as a whole. Now, we know that Hank Johnson was trying to get to Persepolis. In his way to Persepolis, he met, well, he didn't actually meet. Deborah Bogdanovich appeared. Deborah Bogdanovich appeared in its Nexon form, and the only thing that we've got a record for is that Deborah is telling Hank that he shouldn't go to Persepolis because the Nasir power is too strong. So we need to be careful in how we handle the Nasir power, but we also need to try and get that power back. And so Hank saw Deborah Bogdanovich. It was just an XM construct. We do not know that Deborah is back. Deborah is still in the Portal Network. She may not be back for a while. Stein Lightman, he's still in the Portal Network too. However, both of them are aligned to the Resistance. Now, we know that there's going to be a special guest tonight that's going to tell us about the next Tycho project. We don't know what it may be. I'm really excited to try and hear what he's gonna present to us in the next couple of minutes. And I think that's basically it for the past week. I think those are the most important events that's been going on. Oh, and we can also say that the MUFG capsule and the SoftBank Ultralink were announced. MUFG was working on a special capsule that may duplicate items over time. So we have that, the red capsule, and we also have the SoftBank Ultralink that was developed by Akira Tsukasa. We don't know who this person is. We expect to see more of the development soon, but Akira Tsukasa has been developing the SoftBank Ultralink, and after a series of tests, it was successfully launched with this is a new item that allows you to give 8 more outbound links. It gives you 5 times the range, 5 times the actual portal range, and it also doubles the shield, the link shielding. So it gives us a 50% extra link shielding or link mitigation. So we have the MUFG capsule, we have the SoftBank Ultralinks, we have Deborah meeting Hank, and we have Stein Lightman secured for the Resistance. I think that's basically the most important things that's been going on this week.
Do we know anything about... So Hank Johnson was going to go to Persepolis, and obviously Deborah said don't do it and all that. Is there any more speculation as to why she wanted him not to go, or interface and throw down with John?
Yes, the Nasir power is too strong. The message that Deborah was trying to give Hank is that the Nasir power is too strong for us to handle. We don't know how Hank may react to this power or what the Nasir may do to Hank. We need to know and remember that Persepolis is the place where all the Nasir power will come back to us. So it's a very strong power. It's concentrated just in that place, and he will be alone with Jahan. So we don't know how it's going to affect Jahan and how it may affect Hank if he goes there.
Interesting. Okay. Well, as always, thank you, sir. It's you're a bundle of knowledge each and every week. Catch us up, distill things down, let us know what's going on. Appreciate you taking the time to do it.
My pleasure.
Rock man.
And with that, it's now time for everybody's favorite part of the show. Not that the guests aren't exciting in their own right as they sit back and watch and drink beers. Yes, I'm talking about you, Weasel. Yeah, there you go. It is the code of the show. So here we go. Like magic, it'll appear over my shoulder in 3, 2, 1.
Hurry!
There we go.
Codes!
Dun, 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 dun. Oh my God, there's 2. I must have stuck it in a MUFG capsule and it duplicated. I don't know how long it took. Look at that. There's 2 of them. They're kind of long too. They both start with 7 too. Interesting. Leave it up there for a little bit. Another couple seconds or so. Let people furiously type those in. I see everybody copying them. Fev from Fev Games is going to be coming on in a second. I see him typing it. He's going to let us know what it is, hopefully. The IRC chat's going nuts. They already got a special code in there, and they redeemed it for some items, too. So if you're not in our Behind the Scanner chat, go to behindthescanner.com and click on chat and join. And what was that for? Some XMPs and AP and some other stuff. So
I want my Mufug.
There we go.
There's a link out.
Mufug. There's a link out. Nice. Going. Yeah, we don't know what's in these. They're limited, redeemable, shareable, so they could be good for 25. They could be good for 500. They could be XMPs. They could be viruses. We have no clue. But I think it's been up there long enough, so let's take it down. Hopefully you got that. All right.
All right, well, moving on to our next segment, it's time for an Inside the Scanner, and we have got Fevinist Silverwind from Fev Games. And this segment will break down the app changes, edits to the game mechanics, and describe the new features implemented in the app that may or may not have been described a little bit earlier. So thanks for being here, so take it away.
All right, can you guys hear me all right?
Yep.
All right, good deal. So I only got one of those passcodes. The top was clipped by my screen, so I didn't get the joy of having that one. However, the second one looks like some 5 gear and a force amp, so thanks for that.
Nice.
All right, so we already touched a little bit on them, but the SoftBank Ultralink and the MUFG capsules came out. Touching on the Ultralink first, as was explained, you get 50% link mitigation, so that's mitigation provided by your links. You get a 50% increase on top of that. The distance of these guys is 5 times the normal distance, where you have the very rares at 7, and the normal rare link amps for 2 times the distance. So it's not quite as rare, not quite the distance as a VR, but still pretty dang good. And the other awesome benefit of this one is per Ultralink that you add to a portal, you get 8 additional outbound links, where the normal that you're limited to is 8 to start with. So you can increase it up to 4 times additionally and give yourself 40 outbound links from the normal 8 that we were stuck to originally. And let me swap my screen over here. We have some pictures from a photo. Oh, there we go. So here's our test portal. Thanks, Nico, for these. So you can see right here we have our 40 outbound links right here. No more linkable portals beyond that. Here's a picture of it up close with 4 Ultralinks installed. And that's a beautiful thing. Even though it's blue, it's a beautiful thing. And then here's a cool Intel map picture of it. And those are all outbound links. Nothing was linked into this portal, so that's pretty cool. I'm sure we'll see some awesome dynamics and missions and whatnot based around those. It'll be interesting to see what the community comes up with that new availability. So the second item we're moving on to is the MUFG capsule, and this one is it's still a bit of an unknown. I mean, obviously, like a normal capsule, we can put items in this, and there's sometimes you get an item, sometimes you don't. The pattern is unknown at the moment. We're still trying to figure it out. I'm sure you guys have seen various forums out there of people trying to collect data Fev Games is also putting out a form. They either put it out this evening or they're going to be putting it out really soon. We're trying to see if we can collect data and make some sense of this madness. The guesses so far is that it's on a 12-hour cycle, and the other guess on top of that is it's a dice roll. You either get an item or you don't. But it seems to be pretty consistent around that 12 cycle. We want to guess that's the only actual thing we know. So if you see us sharing out that form, take a look at it. Please consider it. Any data submitted helps us trying to figure out the mysteries of this thing and how exactly does it work, because we don't know. A minor update in the handshake for Ingress. It looks like there were a lot of tweaks added, and I'm getting this information from Connor, our APK teardown expert. And I see Weasel showing his badges to me. Don't worry, man, it's on my list. But in the handshake, there was a lot of tweaks for wearables. There's no release date or any information really released on wearables for Ingress yet, but they're still working on it. There's still minor tweaks every update, so it's coming at some point. So, as Weasel was showing me, there's also, and I was totally putting together, my graphic guys are going to kill me for this, but let me swap over to my paint.net thing that I was working on earlier. I'm not sure if the resolution on that's good on your guys' end or not, but anyway, on your platinum and black badges, they've now added a new border and kind of a gloss on the top right of the badge. And that change came in today. The only quote-unquote black badge we didn't see a change to was the Founder's badge. That still remains its original black, but it doesn't count as a black badge anyway, but it was just something minor to note. And the last update we have, let me swap my screen somewhere else yet again. Going back to Chrome land here. Thanks for the passcode again. Let me refresh my screen and get that off here. So on the Intel map, when we start to zoom out, we were all used to this, you can see less and less portals. However, an update we've noticed, let me go out a tiny bit more. Come on, Intel map, you can do it. Alright, let's get out a little bit more. Ooh. Okay, so this is I should have taken some more screenshots. So, what I was going to demo to you, it looks like in between the time it was enabled and probably about 20 minutes ago, it looks like the Intel map is back to its old state. What I was going to show you, and I wish I would have taken a screenshot, I'm sure some of my counterparts have, when you zoomed out on the Intel map, it looked like at a certain distance, it'd take away the standard blue and green portal graphics that we're all used to, and it would replace it with what looked like the core of that graphic, so I'm guessing a dumbed-down graphic to help with load times, especially at zoomed-out distances. But the other interesting thing is at a certain zoom-out level, it stopped showing links. So if you zoomed out, it only showed links 300 meters and above, for instance. And the further you zoomed out, you can only see longer and longer links. Probably also to help with load times when you're trying to capture a giant field, you know, get your screenshot, zoom out, and all these little portals and all these little tiny links are making the Intel map a nightmare for you. So, but those changes were reverted. It looks like the Intel map is back to its standard Intel map. So I don't know when those changes will come back. That's really interesting. That happened here in the last 20 minutes. Anyway, that's all I have for this time, guys.
Thanks for the breaking news.
Hey, actually, there's a couple guys in the chat have got a question for you.
Oh no.
Yeah, Robert Burton wants to know the 50% mitigation does it come from the 8 extra links, or is it going to be on top of the extra link mitigation?
So as I understand it, it's on top of the 50%. So the link mitigation, I believe, caps around 50% in about 50%, and then I think it gradually goes up from there. It'll be interesting to see. I don't have the exact numbers in front of me. I wish I did, but I believe on top of that 50% you gang from your 8 links, you gang an additional 50% on top of that, whatever the math ends up being on top of that. But it's definitely a 50% and then a 50% on top of that. I'm not good at math. I'll admit that right now. But
50%. I think that's 75%. 50%, 50%. Yeah.
We can go with that.
All right.
I hope that answers this question.
All right. Well, as always, thank you, sir, for coming on and giving us. There's been a lot of changes, and this is what I affectionately call the scanner season, because in between anomalies, I like to do a lot of stuff like this and push things out. So look forward to hearing all the new stuff that's going to be coming in the weeks from you guys. Appreciate it.
Awesome.
All right. So with that, our next guest just joined us. He is here. He reached out to us claiming that he's got some information regarding Tycho that will be of interest to you Ingress players out there. His name is John Nee, and he is the CEO of Cryptozoic Entertainment. Cryptozoic produces games, trading cards, and comics based off of properties like World of Warcraft, The Walking Dead, Breaking Bad, and a whole bunch of more really cool shows and properties. I'm not going to do his accomplishments any justice in the 10 seconds I've got here. But before he joined Crypto, he was most notably the Senior Vice President of Business Development at DC Comics. Prior to that, he was the VP and General Manager of Wildstorm Productions, which is one of the original 6 image studios, which was, back in the day, if you don't know the story about that, a pretty radical and amazing idea to pull off. Really excited to see that become so successful. So with that, everyone, please welcome Mr. John Nee from Cryptozoic. How's it going, John?
Hi, Andrew. Nice to meet you. Good to see you.
Definitely.
We've got some interesting goings on here. So,
I've heard. So let's get down to brass tacks. There has been rumors recently that Tycho is up to something.
We were reached out to by a fellow named Tycho, and we are going to be publishing an Ingress comic that will be in store September 30th. This year.
Wow, that'll be cool. So September 30th, that seems a little bit far out. Why are you guys announcing it, I guess, this far ahead of the date?
Well, primarily what we're hoping to do is to get Ingress agents to come into comic book shops and order the comic. It's one of the great things about Ingress is that, you know, we can put portals inside of stores, and you know, we want people to go order comics. We're also going to put up a list of other comics that people can pre-order for this fall. There's a lot going on, and we're very excited about it.
Yeah, Ingress, definitely there's no shortage of passion there in the topics. I think a few people in Operation Essex have already found a comic book store online that's offering pre-orders of it, so we'll put a link to that in some of our videos.
Okay.
But I can imagine that, given that it's Tycho and his reputation, why it might be difficult to use some of these normal advertising channels when you're reaching out. We've also heard rumors that maybe the National Intelligence Agency is contacting you guys.
We can't really comment on that, unfortunately.
That's fair enough. So how about this? Let me rephrase it then. Has anybody tried to stop you from publishing the book or requesting an advance copy?
Not really. Well, not really. Well,
I don't want to get you in trouble. We want to actually read it when it comes out. So
no, not really. Not so far.
Okay. All right. For those of you that are watching that don't know, Tycho is a mysterious comic book artist who ghosts for a lot of famous artists. It's kind of similar to being a ghostwriter for an author. He's been around the industry for a long time. I've actually, you know what, let me show you this. There was a video posted in 2012 at, I believe it was San Diego Comic-Con, where he basically accosted a guy named Flint Dill at a Buck Rogers panel talking about portals. And again, this was July of 2012. Let me just show this to you guys real quick out there watching. I think I'm sharing my screen now. Here we go.
And Flint, good to see you. How you doing? Yeah, I know you know you're very good. I know you know exactly what's going on. Yeah, I know exactly what Buck Rogers is going on. He knows exactly what's going on with this whole Buck Rogers thing. Okay, the whole thing. You've been planting messages through Buck Rogers since before World War II, buddy. The whole thing, the atomic energy, the whole thing with that, you know what I mean? Niagara Falls, a secret army base, ding dong. Everybody know what's going on. How about your little star journey? Yeah, we know what's going on. These are portals, pal. Portals to different dimensions. Dimensional reality is what happens. They know exactly what's going on. And you're hiding the whole thing, and you're sitting there talking about whatever you're talking about. There's people here that know this besides me. Come on, raise your hand. Raise your hand. Raise your hand. There, look at this guy knows exactly what's happening with this game. I know what's going on here. Okay?
So what do you think's going on, Tycho?
What do I think's going on? There he goes again. What he thinks I know. I know what I think. You know what you know? I know exactly what you know. The whole thing, everything, the whole thing. I've seen portals. I've seen portals, and I've seen them the whole time. I have art. This is my art portals. I have portals, so I know exactly what you're doing, man. I know exactly what you're up to.
All right, so that was Tycho back in 2012 at the Comic-Con. So he's definitely been around for a while. John, what was it like to really work with Tycho?
We don't know. We actually have never met him. One of the features about this project is that we just get pages left, and this is not the first time that we've worked this way. We've actually had it's not a famous story, but Jim Lee's colorist back at Wildstorm was in the Federal Witness Protection Program, and we sent pages to him on zip disks. And they're like, this is the truest story ever. And Flint he's an interesting guy. He's like the Zelig of the game business. You just show up and like some random photo, and there's Flint's head in the group, and he's been in just a lot of interesting stuff.
He does seem to have connections all over the place. So I was actually introduced to your company when I bought the Walking Dead board game for my brother, because he's a huge fan. Is this type of work with Tycho a bit of a departure for Cryptozoic, or is it?
We mainly do games now. I come from the comic book business, and as you mentioned earlier, I helped start Wildstorm with Jim Lee, and we published a lot of great comic books. I'm out of that now and do a little bit of comic work, and this thing with Tycho came up. So we're pretty interested in it, and it's been exciting. We're excited that it's going to come out this September.
Yeah, September 30th. That'll be cool. So, based on some of the Hangout messages and our own chat that I'm getting from my own selfish curiosity, how can we actually pick up the book when it's released?
I think the best thing is to pre-order it. If you go into a comic book store, you can, and we can post, various resources to find comic shops. But the whole idea is to get a crowd of Ingress players to just surge into comic shops, and we want to make this the #1 comic book of the year, and that's totally doable.
We'll definitely help out. If you've got any of those resources, where it's going to be sold, let us know, and we'll get that out to the community.
Absolutely.
I'm sure that with it being Tycho, there's going to be no shortage of puzzles and things to solve and crack and figure out, what he's actually talking about. But so with that though, is Niantic Labs involved?
We're unfortunately not able to comment on that.
Well, how about this? You mentioned what is the title? The title is what's the title of the book actually? I don't think we mentioned that yet.
I can't share that with you at this time, unfortunately.
How about, without giving away any details of it, does it take place in the past or the present or the future?
Yes, it takes place in the past, the present, or the future.
All right, fair enough. So we have a lot to look forward.
You know, and with this story also features a beginning and a middle and an end.
Oh.
Interesting. Well, Tycho's known for his premonitions, so I definitely want to check that out and see what the end is. That actually has me a little bit nervous. All right. So the last question, I'll let you off the hook and get you out of here, but is this going to be a one-off? Is there any indications that this is going to be a series? More to come?
You know, we want to do this as long as readers want to support it.
All right, fair enough. So there you go, folks. Tycho is coming out, well, not Tycho, Cryptozoic is creating a graphic novel through the works of Tycho and Tycho's crazy things that are going on, the visions he gets, the information he receives about, I guess, the past, present, and future of...
I wasn't even sure that's how you pronounced it until today. Thank you. I thought it was Tycho.
Interesting. I think it's like, well, no, it's, if we assume that...
Do you know? Does anyone know?
If we assume that Flint has any connection to him based off of that video, then I'll go with Tycho. I'll default to him. I have
Flint's
no
got
idea.
a lot of weird connections. He's a...
Yeah, I have no idea, so I'll default to that. But, well, thank you, sir, for coming on, and I appreciate you sharing the information.
Thank you guys for having me.
All right, take care. So, a graphic novel with information about, I guess, Ingress, the Niantic project, its past, present, and future with an end. That is a bit interesting. We'll see where that goes. All right. I don't even know how to segue from that into getting back into the party that we got going. I mean, we're already way over an hour, but that's okay.
I think their prediction was right. It's going to be a 2-hour show.
2-hour
I know
show?
what I'm talking about. I'm a professional.
All right, well, let's get back
Let's
to
stop doing this.
in Woodchuck, apparently. So welcome back, guys. For those of you who are maybe just joining us,
I
what
think
do you guys think about that?
I would actually buy one. In fact, there is a comic book store at my favorite farm, and I think I'm about to organize a farm. Secrets.
There is, isn't there? Yes, there is.
Yes,
And,
I know.
and
So if any of our resistant friends are watching, yes, we will have to have an event there at some point.
Victory Comics, yeah. It's Victory Comics, right?
I'll be going to the Portal and hacking Area 51 Comics here in Grapevine, Texas, and buying my copy the day it comes out. Just go ahead and throw that out there right now.
The past, present, future with an end. Interesting. Let's see where that goes. I'm
Yep.
intrigued.
No, I
Okay,
think.
so go ahead.
Oh no. All right. Well, I think let's get on the show. I've missed you guys. I've missed the bromance. So,
Hooray! Hey, I did not agree to this bromance relationship. Where did this come up?
It's too bad. It's like an arranged marriage.
Like I see it.
Whoa,
It's like an
whoa,
arranged marriage.
whoa,
It's
whoa.
it's good.
Hey, he's my... never mind.
I got the chance in this relationship.
Let's get back on topic a bit. We brought you here to talk about Ingress. We'll just gloss over the last comment.
How do you walk? I still haven't figured that part out.
How do you walk?
Actually, I came up with a really good troll the other day because I had some people thinking that I wasn't there, and I decided to come up with a good joke.
Face?
And I says, "Yeah, my face." Can't distract me like that. I'm like, man, I never figured out what spoofing actually was. It's where you actually have to go to the portal and capture it in real life. I never knew that's what it was called because I was getting called a spoofer that day, and it was so funny. I'm sorry, I just flopped that joke. Sorry, I'll just go away. Bye.
That's all right. To be fair though, you don't actually have to walk though, and I only bring this up because one of our good friends of the show, Agent Gimster, Wheels to the Max, he's in a wheelchair, so you don't actually have to be. I hate to say an able-bodied person. I think that's the correct term, right? He plays Ingress. There are other people that have disabilities. You don't have to actually walk. And the good news is, anybody that follows Wheels to the Max, he hasn't got his new wheelchair yet, but they met their goal of, I believe was it around $13,000, $9,000 to get his new wheelchair, thanks to donations from everybody across, both factions and donating at anomaly sites. So congratulations to Max. He's going to get his brand new wheelchair that he so desperately needs. And thank you to you guys in the community for helping and support that. That was a good segue. Good news.
Oh, yay.
So let's get back to Ingress and you two animals, literally.
Hey,
Let's talk about something a little bit more serious. Let me pick your brain a bit. So, if you were king for the day, how would you improve the scanner?
Let's go ahead.
That's a difficult question. Why do you got to ask such difficult things?
Because you've had time off about like the last 20 minutes to think about it.
Well, you should have presented the question earlier before that, so we had a chance to think about it.
Hey, I have good answers right here. You want me to go ahead and
go for it?
Go ahead.
Weasel.
I got a list here. Let me start going over this now. Okay, so here's my number one pet peeve in the Ingress scanner, and I don't know if anyone at Niantic actually plays Ingress, but you know when you're at a portal or you're at a farm or whatever, and you're riding your bike, you're walking, you're riding in a car, you're driving sometimes, and you hit the portal, and the whole screen just rotates around like 90 degrees, or oh my God, why?
Yes.
Why? Please, for the love of God, Niantic, would you someday just remove that? Because I'm the guy playing the game. Okay, I set the screen exactly where I want it to be, so I can hack down this farm or hack these portals exactly. You know, I don't want to click the portal, then come back out, then it's zoomed way into my face, or click the portal and the screen rotates, 180 degrees. Why? Why does it do that?
I can add onto that one a little bit. You know the whole feature where it's supposed to follow your compass arrow and like rotate wherever. Since when has the compass worked? Since like 2 years ago? Mine always says I'm going to the left. Does anybody else's compass work right?
No.
No.
But you can turn it on compass static mode where it's never the way you're looking.
All right, so that's my first thing. I actually wrote down 3 things. So
Okay.
One, stop the screen from automatically rotating or zooming in and out. Can it just be set where I want it? I'm the player of the game. I want it. This is where I want it. Don't move it, please. Okay. So second thing is when new options are added, like that new proximity thing where you can pick up multiple items, or I don't even know what it's called. Why is there not an option to disable that? What if you don't want that? Like for example, the proximity tiles when you're just driving down the street and it's like, hey, this portal's over here, this portal's over there, and this portal's over that way. Big chunky tiles on your screen. I know where those portals are. I live here, okay? I don't need this screen telling me, and it's in my way. I can't click on things, okay? Can there just be an option to disable that? I don't want that kind of stuff. I only want what I want as the player. So when they add new features like that, can't there just be an option to disable that? I mean, how hard is that to do? It can't be that hard, right?
Why can't we just have options in general?
Yeah, exactly. And then the only other thing that I would complain about on the scanner is the maybe a lower bandwidth version. Like if you have it, like I try to play on my Nexus old. It's a 2013, right? Nexus 7 or 2000. I don't even know. But it's like it just chugs now at the graphics, and especially with all these new Skittles colors and everything flying around. We could have a low width version or something like that where I can just disable all the fancy graphics and all the animations, and then just hey, I just want to play the game. I don't care about, ooh, look at this control field. Whee! Who cares? I don't care.
Right. Yeah. Great answer.
I'm done. Dave, you nailed it.
That's all.
You nailed it. Right, I give you a high five if you're in the same room, but you're not in the same room, so you're going to have to put a virtual high five. So, no, the graphics have always been my biggest complaint, and inventory's never been the greatest either, but it's better than it was. Graphics, vectors, these fancy options, it's a lot of the player base feels like they get really ripped off because we're out there, like, hey, this will really make the game easier for us to use. This will make the game, better for all of us. It'll be, less stressful on you guys. Or you got people out there with all this education making suggestions on how to make it less server dependent and all this other stuff. And it's like, no, we're going to add in some new badges and some really flashy lines to your resonators because we want it to look like Candyland. And yeah.
Well, that's like today, William. You know, when they added the new graphics with the 3D effect on the badges.
I didn't even look
Really?
at that yet. I'm looking.
Who wanted that? Who asked for that? I think it looks like it makes the badges harder to see, especially the platinum ones. I think it looks really bad. I mean, I hate to say that, but
it's only working on it's only platinum and onyx.
I can't believe like at Niantic that's where their resources are going to do stuff like that when there's so many things that could just basic things that can improve the scanner, and they're wasting time on things like that. It just blows my mind.
Does anybody know the idea behind the community tab yet? Has anybody figured out the reason we have a community tab?
To make you ask questions.
Exactly.
All right, guys. Well, little.
Keep them coming. Come on.
All right, so, go ahead.
No, go on with the next question.
All right. So, okay, we talked about missions, anomalies, achievements, and I want to talk about operations. So those events that are agent planned, agent run, and agent executed, what are each of your most memorable faction or maybe even cross-faction agent run operations that you've been a part of?
Why are we doing mirrored? Never mind.
I can.
Do you have your list?
I don't have the list, but come on, the Texas Star, wasn't that great? That was epic.
That was pretty sweet.
Yeah, and I loved being a part of that. That was great. And again, here in Texas, we have such a great crew on the Enlightened side, and that was a very fun, little op to do.
That was beautiful.
Yep.
All right, how about you, William?
Oh, gee. The other guy here is like, talk about TVA. They did the cross-faction mega fields. That was pretty cool. I wasn't part of that. We did the only one that I've ever really been a part of that's really huge besides anomaly stuff. We did the 401 link record, and that was before the key on every hack thing. We had like 5 guys hacking for 4 months to get 400 keys. That's 24. Yeah, that was before they changed the hack times, and we did the 401 link record. That was a lot of fun, especially the last hour of it because one guy was incredibly drunk. That's still talked about today, which is quite amusing. No, that's the only major operation that I've been a part of. I mean, they've totally destroyed those link records since then, but we did ours right before they did the key hack changeover, so I'm still going to say ours is cooler because difficulty. Well, no, it's one of those things that you try to explain to newer players, and they don't get that we would spend 2 weeks trying to get enough keys to make 5 fields.
Yeah, the uphill both ways.
And they're like, oh, we don't want to hear about it. And it's like, no, literally, like 2 of us would sit at a portal for 3 days straight, hacking it twice, 2 burnouts a day, and get 1 key.
Yeah.
And they're like, what? And I was like, yeah. It's like, I'm trying to make like 3 fields to get to the next level, and I can't get enough keys. Yeah. And so, like, you were like really proud when you're running around with like this 800 key library of like everything in your local area, and everybody's like, "Dude, you got this key?" I'm like, "Yeah, I got like 5 of them." And they're like, "Wow, you're like the coolest thing ever!" So I mean, like for us to hack, I mean, we had 5 people sitting at a location for 4 months straight, hacking keys, and then friends would come over to there and hack keys as well, and it's like that's some dedication. But these guys are stuck at this EMS station for 24 hours straight at a time. What else are you going to do besides watch TV and go boop every 4 minutes, and then it's like, oh, okay, I got a key. No, TVA was a really cool thing they did here. They did I forget how many layers. It was quite a few layers of fields that they did for the Devra virus. Do you remember how many of those? It was 11 or 12 million. It was pretty. It was big. It went from in Kentucky all the way down into Alabama. Yeah, they did. They alternated, and it was really cool. Except when I'm going out trying to teach new players how to like link and field, and we kept it up for like a week, and I couldn't teach them how to like link and field, and they kind of quit, and I was like, oh. Other than that, the only thing I've really ever participated in is shards. and anomaly stuff. So I think the Texas Star, though, that kind of blows away a lot of really cool things. A lot of the field art, I've just never been in part of the field art stuff. He's over here shaking his fist. I can see him on the screen.
All right. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm just rambling on.
Okay,
That's
well,
what I do.
Yes, he is rambling on. Please,
all
next
right.
question.
Well, since both of you have traveled to play Ingress and have been playing since almost the beginning, you've got to have at least one embarrassing Ingress story. So, Weasel, what's your one moment you wish you could take back?
Actually, it's I don't really have one, except for at the beginning of the game, I was so excited to play, I didn't stop to actually figure out how Ingress worked. So I remember going down to my first cluster of portals. There was a little, group of the statues with 5 portals, and I linked them all together, and they didn't make a control field. And I was so pissed off that there was no control field. And I stomped home, and I'm Googling, and there's nothing on Google because the game is so new, and I couldn't figure out why. They were all linked together, and there was no control field. And finally, like 2 days later, I figured out you have to link 3 together to make the control field. So that was kind of it.
I think I played for about a month before I learned you could actually hack enemy portals.
Oh no, that.
If you want to call embarrassment, it's like there was like 3 portals where I started playing, and it was like, hey, that's pretty cool, and I had no idea that you could hack enemy portals. I'm like, I'm looking for blue stuff. I don't know how to attack anything. I didn't have anybody around to show me how to play, and there, like you were saying, there was nothing online about it. So.
All right. Well, but William, I mean, has there been something that's made your face turn red?
No. Well, the excitement when we had the helicopter in Charleston.
He's pretty pale. I'm pretty sure the sun turns his face red real easily.
Okay, time out.
It's the lighting, man. I'm telling you.
He's from Michigan, of course.
Hey, actually, I tan very well. I'm actually very dark, but I'm looking at myself here in the lights, and I look like a ghost. It's like, man, I'm glad I'm not in showbiz.
We are too. Thank you. You've got a face for radio. It's wonderful.
Yeah, that ugly face you talking about?
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Why do you think the Weasel was in radio, man?
I know, right?
It's the only place that would hire him.
All right. Well, for everyone watching, those of you still watching, you can still submit questions for our guests.
As long as we're here, they're going to keep watching. I guarantee you.
Yeah, you know what? I'm watching. That's for sure. So, via YouTube. You've got to click on the banner at the bottom of the video that says "Be part of the conversation," and from there, just click on the square grid menu icon in the upper right and select QA. All right, gentlemen. Have your roles within your communities changed over time? Do you do more or less than when you first started playing?
Got nothing, Weasel?
William?
Yeah, let William go first.
I don't know. I've never actually quite figured out my role in my community. I just kind of do whatever.
He's the jester.
Sometimes I try to be. Sometimes I'm more angry than anything. No, your role in your community should be active in your community, and that's always my goal. But sometimes you just get frustrated with your communities too, because it's like communities change. And when you've been around for a while, Andrew, put that away. Andrew. Okay, never mind. So your communities change, and the people change in your community. So your roles got to change in your community too, whether you were a leader before, or if you have to push forward through, creating some new leaders in your community, because you can't just always try to be Mr. Hero and tough guy and stuff like that. And sometimes it's just smart to back off. So I just try to fill out whatever role I can, but I don't know what I'm doing.
All right.
Terry is saying I'm the troll and realist of the community. Thanks, Terry.
Okay, so speaking of changing roles in a different way is a little bit of a softball question. Weasel, have you considered a faction change ever?
You're funny. That's the best question tonight.
All right.
I know, right?
Let me just sum it up by a couple letters. ENS ENL or GTFO.
Right
Or
on.
GTO? Is that gas, tires, and oil? Oh wait, no, that's a GTO. GTO.
All right, William, how about you?
I'm with Weasel.
Gotcha. Yes, ENL or GTFO. I love it.
Nice. All right. Well, for Matt and William, we decided to cut some of the preordained questions short because we got a lot of your questions. So I'm just going to go ahead and start peppering you with them, all right?
Wait, hey, and don't forget your 2 questions. So,
I've already got my answer.
Don't try to
I've got my-
wait till
I
out
didn't
now,
even
okay?
need any.
Yeah, they can't escape from that. We can't allow them to do that,
It's
Weasel.
okay.
Those are pretty good questions.
So, all right, we got one that's got one of the most pluses here from Jonathan Ferreira Tabaris? And because you are question number 3 that we're reading, I'm going to give you one of those codes. I don't know what it's for. It'll either be a SoftBank link amp or the MUFG capsules. But his question is to both of you. He would like to know, is there a likelihood of leaving? I would also like to know if you know that there is a likelihood of leaving the new capsules or link amp. I'm not sure what that's asking.
Can we get a translate? Jose, can you help us with this? Can we get the investigation team on this?
Hey, I got the answer. I got the answer for that one. It's 42.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Yes.
I think it might be, do you know what the likelihood of maybe hacking the capsules for the link amp is? Have you guys hacked any yet recently?
I hacked mine, and I hacked both the new items in like my first 100 hacks after they came out, but I know other people that took like 600 or 700, and which is weird for me because I've hacked 2 ADAs in the last year.
Yeah.
I've hacked 2 ADAs in the last 2 hours. What are you talking about?
I thought you didn't have a couch portal. You've been sitting here with us.
On the way home, man. No, I hacked 3 viruses today. Well, I got my black translator last night, so I've been hacking like crazy. But yeah, I've hacked 2 muff capsules, and then I haven't hacked any of the Ultralinks. But one of my teammates gave me an Ultralink, so I gave her my second MUFG capsule. So, no, passing the capsule love around, man.
All right, so this is a question from the BehindTheScanner.com chat. It is for William. Just the sheer nature, no pun intended, of this question. This guy's going to get one of those codes. It's from Behind the Scanner Fan. So Behind the Scanner Fan, I don't know who you are, but double-click my name in the chat and send me a message so I can send you the code. What's the haircut? Yeah, what's the funniest haircut you've had to do to a sheep?
Yeah, he asked it earlier in the chat. He's asking what I've done to a sheep because sometimes I get to have some fun, and I can't remember how many years ago it was. I actually gave a sheep a high and tight.
Did you?
I have pictures of it. I'll send them to you. They are hilarious.
Please post them. That sounds fantastic.
I mean, I've had to do some really weird things for people who are showing sheep, and those don't really count because they're what they're wanted. But I asked these people, I'm like, hey, can I give the sheep a high and tight? Because I wanted to take a picture of it for a buddy of mine who was running the high and tight haircut, and he was bragging about it online. And so I sent him a picture of it, and he's up in British Columbia. And so once I got done taking the pictures and all that, and I had them take some pictures of me with the sheep and all this other stuff, I'm like, all right, well, I'll take it off. And they're like, no, it's cool, leave it. And I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, nice. I mean, you can't really tell it's a high and tight, but it's kind of like this little fluff on top of the head, and it's nice and squared up, really tight.
You got to send us those pictures. We'll post them on our channel. All right, so Hunter Pine wants to know for Weebin. We've decided in the chat that we're going to call you Weebin. What's the most difficult part of planning an anomaly event?
What's the most difficult part of planning an anomaly event? All the crazy questions you get that people could have spent 5 minutes looking at the community page and getting the answer for.
There's a bit of a dependency from yeah.
I mean, it is being the person, you know, basically standing up front. You're not actually the person that's doing all the work. You have a team of people that work with you and make it happen. That's just the way it is. Right. But you have to kind of be that forefront for all the people who are working with you to answer all the questions and direct traffic and stuff like that. And it gets overwhelming sometimes. And there'll be days where it just 50 or 60 people send you messages, and you don't want to answer a single one of them. You just want to go drink beer.
All right, so this question I'm going to ask to it's Mr. Weasel here. It's from Rock Dietrich, I believe. He wants to know, for new players, do you think there's a way that the scanner app can be improved in terms of the training section to get them to understand, number one, how to find it, and also number two, how to actually be onboarded easier and learn the game mechanics? How would you change the scanner app to make it easier for new players to ramp up in terms of the game mechanics?
I haven't looked at the training thing for 3 years, so I'm probably a bad person to ask.
No, actually, that's a pretty valid point.
Yeah, I haven't looked at this, but I'll tell you what though, our best players, especially our new crop that comes in, I think it's best to get them vetted and into your communities as quick as possible, and get them paired up with people in their areas, because I'm guessing now, especially with this, with a lot of these Axis shields, with the mitigation as high as they are, and level 8 portals are everywhere now, level 7s are everywhere. It's got to be a little intimidating for a new player. So if you can get them
agree.
if you can get them teamed up with an experienced a veteran player, they'll probably stick around and stick with the game a little longer.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. It's really tough for new players, because if you have a guy that's just constantly smashing an area daily or twice daily, a new player can't keep up with that. It'll get rid of them really quick.
All right, so this next question, I'm going to shoot it to both of you, is from Beauregard Bittner. He wants to know, what do you think about the Go Ruck Ingress pairing? Both of you have been to Anomalies recently. You hosted one. Obviously, there wasn't a Go Ruck event there in Nashville, but Matt,
I had
what do
some
you
guys
think?
from Go Ruck here. They really enjoyed it. They thought it was pretty cool. But I told them, if we're going to do a Go Ruck here in Nashville, we're not carrying boxes. We're carrying telephone poles. I mean, if we're going to do it, we're going all out, because, I mean, just that's the way it is, and that's the way I roll. But no, the Go Ruck thing, it brings another dynamic to the game. I'm not really sure exactly how Niantic went after it, having not really been there for it. I mean, because some of the videos and stuff I saw, it kind of looked kind of cheesy to me, and I think they were just trying to make stuff up. But the people that are talking about what they were doing, they have a very specific mission for the anomaly, and that's kind of cool, and it brings a whole nother dynamic to the game. Instead of going out and trying to find just dead drops, they got some other clues and stuff available for them to help the team out. So some players that are, you could get a level 1 player who's like backpacker extraordinaire, who can stomp past everybody out on the field and go and get all this information, and he's extremely useful, even just starting that day.
Actually, I was talking with Barcode Mar, and I think he did the Go Ruck for the Enlightened up in DC, and I think I'm actually going to try for if they bring it back this next series, I'm actually going to go for the Go Ruck challenge, and Mar is going to help me, and I'm actually going to do the Go Ruck challenge here in DFW on September 12th, which is commemorating the September 11th. They're going to have a special patch and everything, but it's kind of motivated me. At first, I thought, well, it's just kind of cheesy, it's kind of goofy, and then when I saw them afterwards, it's kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of like seeing a military, someone from the military or something. It was motivating, and then I saw the pictures from Portland and with them in the whatever that is, a lake or a river or whatever. I was like, man, that just seems cool. I want to do that. I want that Go Ruck badge on my scanner someday. So that's my goal. Next series, if they bring it back, I'm doing it.
I will say, the folks that I know that participated in DC, they loved it, and so much that a whole bunch of them have already signed up for non-Ingress Go Ruck events. So it's the guys I know, and girls too, they've absolutely loved it.
I got some friends that do Carry the Fallen, which is kind of like Go Ruck, where guys are basically marching with packs to raise money for disabled veterans. And I got a buddy on Facebook that's a veteran, and this dude's had cancer surgery like 7 times. And as soon as he gets out there, he's either in a vehicle handing water out to these guys, in a wheelchair, or as soon as he can put a pack on, he's out doing this stuff. So there's a lot more that goes on for the Go Ruck and these other different events like that than just exercise too. Some of them have some very specific meanings behind them.
Yeah. All right, the next one is a question that I will actually answer because it was revealed last week on Behind the Scanner. Sonny Lee wants to know, when do you believe the next anomaly is going to be and where? And Joe Philly on the show last week at the very, very end when I made the bet that I actually won, by the way, Daphne, the food bet, he mentioned that I would have to collect the bet in August because that's when the next anomaly series is going to kick off. So we've got a couple months of downtime. Don't know where, but at least we've got that little tidbit. So you've got a few months to recuperate.
I know the Memphis guys have been begging for an anomaly for like the last 3 series, and they came back to Nashville again, and they're like, what? I'm like, I don't know. I did not ask for it. I would have rather have been in Memphis than it wouldn't have been in my hair.
Not a question, but more of a statement of fact. Gavin Treadgold, one of our buddies and former guests, he says that, Matt, Weasel, you were the 13th level 16 worldwide.
Yeah, and I was actually talking to Gavin in the Seer chat while we were down for a break intermission there, and I said, actually I had to wait. Remember, I had to wait for about a week to do it on the show, so I had actually gotten all the stats that I needed. I only needed to capture one more portal, and I had to wait for literally almost a week. So I might have been level number 12. So
that's painful.
But either way, I know it was painful. Either way, I'm good with 12, 13, whatever. I mean, come on, that's the whole world. I mean, and if you look, there are some heavy hitters that I beat to 16. Like I'm pretty sure I might have beat Morka. I know I beat BB5. So that's some. Those are basically our all stars in Ingress. So I'm happy with 12 or 13 too.
All right, so here's a really good question. Another one from Beauregard Bittner. I'm going to ask this both of you, but I'm going to ask it to William first. Do you think it borders on harassment when you follow another agent through town?
Yes and no. You got to remember this is a game. When you're out playing this game, there are other people out playing this game. When you stop playing the game and you start heading home and that person continues to follow you, then it's an issue. If you're out playing Ingress and somebody's following you around and blowing up the portals behind you, they're playing the game too. So I know a lot of people that get all uptight about that. I had a guy that I never met him, but he was following me around at one place, and I was destroying all his stuff, and then he decided to finally leave. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go over to the other side of town and hit this like huge cluster. Well, I get over to the other side of town after spending, probably 30 or 40 minutes, killing random stuff and capturing stuff that were uniques on the way over there to get to this 40 portal cluster, and he's over there, so I go around and just wipe it. And then I eventually meet him in the park, and he wouldn't say hi or anything like that. I said hi, and he said hi back, but he didn't want to chat. So all of a sudden, I'm getting this message from one of our locals here who's got a big mouth. They're like, oh, so you're around stalking players again today, huh? And I'm like, oh, so what is it? I'm playing the game. I didn't even know he was over there, It's like, it's just a game.
Weasel, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, pretty much the same thing. I will have to say that I'm not going to say I used to stalk, but I used to be real possessive of portals. And I don't know, at some point I had the realization that these aren't my portals. They're, they're the community's portals. Even though they're in my neighborhood, I think they're mine, I pretend they're mine, they're not mine. So that's the big thing that, for me, new players have to realize, because I do see a lot of new players that, getting in the chats, our newbies are like, man, they just took my portal. Are they targeting me? Blah, blah. I'm like, dude, chill. This is a game. These are all portals that everyone can play. They're not your portals. They're portals in your area, but that's it.
Weasel, what's rule number 1 of playing Ingress?
Never talk about playing Ingress?
Well, no, I mean, I always tell people the rule number 1 of playing Ingress is don't get attached to portals. Rule number 2 is don't get attached to portals. and then you watch people just freak out about Guardian. It's like, okay, your Guardian got killed. It was in the middle of a city. But it was my Guardian. So? Was it the opposite faction, opposite color of the faction that killed it? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we've had that here a couple times where, we actually had a player. This is kind of funny. We had a player down in Arlington come up to. These are suburbs in DFW. The Arlington player came up to another town called North Richland Hills, and captured a portal, that's 20 minutes from their house, and wanted to try to keep it as a Guardian. And every time the locals from North Richland Hills would upgrade this portal in their area. I mean, it's their, they drive past this every day. Why would you not upgrade it? Man, this player would just go off on the comm. Why are you upgrading? That's my Guardian. Blah blah blah. And we finally had to talk this guy off the ledge a little bit. It's like, dude, settle down. This is in their area. They're going to play these portals. That would be like them coming down and capturing the closest portal to your house and then yelling at you every time you upgraded it. And finally it sunk in a little bit. So.
Oh, no. Hey, it's a portal. I just can't possibly capture that. It's whatever.
All right, so the last question is going to be for Matt. Christian Mora wants to know, how many new portal submissions did it take you to get to your 3,500 level? Was it double?
A lot. Yeah, well, at least double now, especially with the new review policy. Unfortunately, they're constantly changing the criteria. And like, for example, I submitted these little military memorial plaques that were on light posts in, and I believe it was Bristow, Oklahoma. And for some reason, Niantic went through, and you know how they don't just go from A to B, C to D, they just kind of, jump around a little bit. So they literally approved, I want to say, 10 of these things, but then the rest never got reviewed, and that was months ago. And now this new criteria hit several weeks, a month ago. Now they're denying every single one of them. And it just blows my mind. Like, you've already accepted 10 of these, and now these are military memorabilia or military, remembrance plaques or whatever. Now you're denying the rest of them. That just doesn't make any sense. So, in the Platinum Seer community, I kind of come up with this saying that NIA is consistently inconsistent, and it just continues on. And it frustrates me because the Seer is my favorite badge. And honestly, if someone said, "Hey, here's Ingress for you the rest of your life, or the rest of the time the game is. You can go out and look for new portals and submit them, or you could go, blow up portals and take portals and play the game." I wouldn't even think twice to say yes. All I want to do is go out and discover new things and submit new portals, because that's, to me, that's the biggest joy in the game. That is the only badge in Ingress that I even care about ever getting is the Black Seer badge, and it's kind of frustrating now knowing that they have these new. New rules that are set up where basically what it is you're getting a point in your scanner for every new submission, but those don't count towards they don't count towards a badge. Everything submitted after January 1st. So that doesn't really make any sense to me. So I envision myself one day hitting that magical 5,000 portals and being stuck on a Platinum Seer for who knows how long. So hopefully. I've read some posts from John Hankey. He said Seer will come back. I trust that that is the truth, and I really hope it is, because that's, like I said, the only personal goal that I have in Ingress is to become Black Seer.
Yeah.
How do you think about the portal too close thing, and then they introduced this whole, oh hey, you can touch on this portal, and if they're too close, you can actually get this little thing to see.
Well. No, I understand about the portals being too close and portal saturation, and I talked to actually John Hankey about this back in October of 13 at Magnus here in Dallas, and I get that, because it is frustrating when portals do get moved, if they were incorrectly, and then they get moved and they're on top of each other. So I'm glad they don't actually accept them on top of each other anymore. But it is kind of
even like 10 feet from each other, though. They're like, oh no, that portal's too close. And some places you'll see where you'll submit a portal in the middle of nowhere, and they're like, oh, we can't do that historical site that you're submitting because it's too close to another portal. It's like, no, it's like 10 miles from the nearest portal. I'm sorry.
Well, here in DFW, well, not so much here in DFW. Here in Texas, they are all about the historical markers. I mean, you'll go somewhere and there'll be like 10 of them.
I'm getting them denied here.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too. It's like, well, which one, out of these 10, I can understand not accepting all 10, but maybe 5 of them, and now it's like, oh, here's one, that's enough for this whole area. And that's,
all right, guys.
He's trying to get rid of us, Weasel.
I know.
No, hey,
I'm
waiting. Some of us are on the East Coast.
Hey, Andrew's got to answer his question still.
Daphne has to answer hers too.
We will do it. I promise. We'll do it.
Feet to the fire. Feet to the fire. Feet to the fire.
Yes. Well,
hey, before you kick us out, can we say bye to people?
No. You actually have 60 seconds.
Oh, okay.
One at a time. Where
William, go first.
You can talk about anything you want, and we are going to stick diligently to the 60 seconds. So, William, you go first.
I'll let Weasel talk because I was having fun, and you just kind of interrupted us, and now I'm confused.
Yes, I did. All right. Go, Weasel. Good job with your...
Right, how about the Lions? Yeah, your microphone's muted, Andrew. Good job, buddy.
I just wanted to get everybody a shot. That's the rule, right?
Yep. All right. So, Weasel, it's your turn.
All right, so Andrew, geez, what is it? Episode 57. You can finally get around to having your buddy on. What else?
Why you?
I want to say hi to my mom, and I'm wearing clean underwear. And just kidding, I'm not wearing any. And I would like to say hi to all my Seer friends, and all the members of the Legion, all the Texas and Enlightened DFW. Love you all. And let me see what else. ENL or GTFO.
Right on. Okay, well, guys, you were right. 2-hour show, and thank you all for watching. Who's been watching, still watching, and chatting, and yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. Thanks for having us on. It was something different, and it was quite enjoyable. I think people had fun from the chat. It looks like people had fun. I think Andrew had fun too.
I had a blast. I've got my answer though, Mr. Weasel, if you'd like it.
I want both of your answers.
Yes.
So Andrew, actually you'll wait, Andrew, ladies before gentlemen. Daphne.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah. So your time machine, where's it going?
It is going to late 1920s, early 1930s Paris, and I would be hanging out with a lot of those great writers and artists, and being one of them, and hopefully published and getting well known and making money before my death, if I don't OD.
That opium.
A lot of that.
If you don't OD, that's a
that opium.
That'd be cool to have.
Nice disclaimer there.
OD or shoot yourself. I don't know. Hemingway did it himself. So yeah, a lot of that was untimely and before their biological time.
All right, Cup, your answer.
All right, so the first two are pretty easy. I think the first person that I would want. You said 3, right? Not just 1. Did I hear that correctly?
Well, yeah.
If not, I'm gonna pick 3 anyway. 'Cause the question normally is what 3 people.
Okay, you pick 3 as long as they're not related to you in any way. So go ahead.
So the first one would definitely be Walt Disney, because he is a guy that had nothing and made this empire, and very, very creative. Just his business sense and his creativity, I think it'd be fascinating to have a conversation with him and to see if what got built and stands today, it was even a thought in his mind in terms of the empire that Disney is. The second would be Mitch Hedberg, because if you have never heard of Mitch Hedberg, you're missing out. Go listen to some of his comedy. He's hilarious. He's
genius.
It's a genius. He's a comedian and unfortunately died too soon. But he takes real world observations and just calls people out on them. So, man, the last one's tough though. I think, and this is going to be an off the wall answer, but it would be Adam Smith, who lived from 1723 to 1790. He's probably the father of economics, and I say that because to me, the study of economics is the study of everything because it takes into account psychology, people's decisions. It affects why a restaurant is laid out the way they are, why a grocery store is laid out the way they are. It affects politics, it's world decisions. I mean, it's not just, a lot of people think economics is kind of like accounting, it's just numbers. It's not, it's big data, it's trends, it's a fascinating science, and him being the father of it, I think would be really fascinating to talk to, because he's got ideas and philosophical things that he came up with back in the 1700s that still apply today, which is pretty amazing when you think about how different the world is in terms of a global economy and everything else. So, yeah, those would be my three, I think.
Good answer, sir.
That's all we got, guys. Thanks for watching.
I got more, but we're done.
Yeah, that's all you got.
Stick around for Behind the Scanner After Dark. Yeah, we'll do that. So, as I was giving my answers, I did not get things set up here. Here we go. Let's play us out.
Do it. I actually think I wanted the dinner question, but you know, I talked about eating.
Man, I could have gone so many different ways. It's Plato, I think, would have been fascinating to talk to, or I don't know.
I've always wanted to go and meet Charles Babbage and see if he's actually like the unsocial jerk that everybody says he was, even though he's a genius.
Yeah.
What
See,
about
I think
Einstein? Einstein's on my list.
Yeah, but Einstein is pretty well documented, though. Like, a lot of people, we know...
Tesla and Einstein are both documented very well.
Yeah, I want most of the aspects of their lives.
Actually, I'd like to go spend a day with George Carlin.